In the past, people disappeared because they failed. Today, people disappear because they see no reason to try. They are not burning out, they are opting out, and they are documenting it. Gallup reported that nearly 60% of workers globally are disengaged. Not angry, not striking, disengaged. Disengagement is quieter than rebellion, but it is more dangerous because it looks like peace. Quiet quitting was framed as self-care. Soft life was framed as healing. Lazy jobs are framed as strategy. But watch closely. This is not rest between efforts. This is withdrawal from effort entirely. People are not saying they are tired. They are saying their future is not worth the cost. And millions agree. The language gives it away. Quotes like, "I'm done trying," and "just here for the paycheck," with "why stress when nothing changes?" These are not complaints. These are mission statements. The comment sections read like group therapy for surrender. Thousands of people responding with relief, with validation, with their own stories of giving up. They have found each other, and they have built a community around disengagement. And the algorithm rewards it, because engagement does not distinguish between hope and hopelessness. It only measures whether you are watching. Let me explain what changed. The social contract of the 20th century was simple. Work hard, get educated, build a career, own a home, start a family. Linear progression. Each generation slightly better off than the last. The contract broke, and we are living inside the breach. In 1970, the median home cost was 2.8 times the median household income. By 2023, it reached 5.8 times. The distance doubled, which means the climb doubled, which means the reward moved farther away, while the effort stayed the same. Average tuition at public universities in 1980 was roughly $3,100 annually when adjusted for inflation. In 2024, it is over $10,000. Private universities exceed $40,000. The cost of entry rose, and the payoff became less certain. Wages did not keep up. Real wages for young workers barely moved. What your labor could purchase in 1973 is close to what it purchases now, while housing, education, and healthcare sprinted ahead. The Economic Policy Institute quantified the divergence. Between 1978 and 2021, CEO compensation grew 1,500%. Worker compensation grew 18%. The system did not collapse. It simply rerouted the gains upward. For younger generations, every traditional promise broke in the same pattern. Education requires debt before opportunity. Jobs require experience before employment. Housing requires wealth before stability. Dating requires algorithms before intimacy. Effort no longer guarantees progress. It barely guarantees survival, so people disengage. Not because they are weak, but because math stopped working. Previous generations used to climb ladders. This one faces obstacle courses. Credential inflation turned basic competence into endless certifications. A bachelor's degree is now the baseline. Master degrees are common. Certifications stack endlessly, and each one costs money. Each one takes time, and each one still places you in a crowd of thousands with identical credentials. Look at modern job postings. Entry-level positions requiring years of experience. The contradiction does not bother anyone anymore. It's simply how things work now. Even if you do everything correctly, you can still lose to timing, to access, to networking, to nepotism, disguised as connections. Gatekeeping is normalized as competition. The system claims to reward merit while functioning on visibility and proximity. Even passion got swallowed. Create content, build a brand, monetize your personality, compete globally. The path to success did not disappear, but it became overcrowded and algorithmically sorted. Millions of people producing into the void, hoping the machine selects them. Most never get seen. Most never get traction. Most never get feedback. And at a certain point, stopping feels like a relief. When effort repeatedly leads nowhere, the brain adapts. Psychologists call it learned helplessness. When outcomes appear disconnected from actions, motivation extinguishes. Multiple studies throughout the 2020s documented rising helplessness patterns among young adults. Not always clinical depression, sometimes something colder, a rational assessment that trying is inefficient. Hope becomes a liability. Ambition becomes dangerous. Trying becomes embarrassing. Detachment feels safer. Doing the bare minimum protects you from disappointment. Expecting nothing prevents heartbreak. That is not laziness. It is risk avoidance in a system that punishes failure more harshly than stagnation. The CDC data shows persistent sadness among high school students that rose from 28% in 2011 to 42% in 2021. That is not random. That is pressure becoming atmospheric. Fail visibly and you are mocked, criticized, labeled. Disengage quietly and you just simply exist. You become invisible, and invisible feels safer than exposed. And the system does not punish disengagement, it barely notices. Companies replace disengaged workers with automation. Platforms replace disengaged creators with new ones. The machine keeps moving. Individual withdrawal feels justified because it changes nothing. Platforms reward visibility, not improvement. Quiet quitting performs. Soft life retains. Disengagement is relatable. So, withdrawal becomes aesthetic. Influencers built followings around opting out. They monetize disengagement while selling it as liberation. They are not alone. Dozens of accounts with six-figure followings built on content that says, in different fonts, stop trying. Business outlets reported what those creator tiers can earn per sponsored post. They are paid to tell you not to pursue money. Their contradiction is structural, and it does not matter, because the audience is not buying logic, the audience is buying permission. Surrender became branding. People who stop trying are now influencers, and the algorithm does not ask whether disengagement is healthy. It asks whether it keeps you watching. The feedback loop is perfect. People disengage, they document disengagement, the documentation performs. People can see it. More people disengage, and the cycle accelerates. And everyone involved profits except the people actually disengaging. Entertainment became analgesic. People scroll for hours, not because the content is compelling, but because the scrolling prevents thinking. Research shows daily screen time for young adults routinely exceed 4 to 6 hours, 1/4 of waking life spent consuming content designed to be forgotten. Short videos, immediate gratification, endless scroll. These platforms are not designed to inform or inspire. They are designed to retain. They do it by keeping your brain slightly hungry, slightly unsettled, slightly unsatisfied. And what fills those hours is mostly other people's lives, other people's successes, other people's relationships. A constant stream of what you do not have and what you are not achieving, what you are missing. This is not motivating, it's paralyzing. Comparison becomes ambient. Inadequacy becomes the default emotional state. So you scroll more to numb the inadequacy the scrolling created. Some people do not even want to improve anymore. They want a reset. They are waiting for a collapse, not because they love destruction, but because destruction is the only scenario where the rules might change quickly enough to matter. And the comments reveal it. Comments like waiting for society to collapse, hope everything burns down, ready for the reset. These comments are not edgy, not performative, familiar, repeated, and earnest. Because changing the system from the inside is slow. It is decades of organizing, voting, policy, and patience. People do not feel they have decades, so they disengage and call it self-protection. Here's the part that no one wants to acknowledge. The mindset of get yours, everyone else be damned, is not new. It is the mindset that built this problem. Boomers are blamed now, often for valid reasons. Policies that benefited them immediately, deregulation, tax cuts, privatization, housing treated as investment instead of shelter, value extracted upward and forward. But current generations risk repeating the pattern with different aesthetics. Maximize personal comfort, minimize personal effort, ignore long-term consequences because long-term consequences feel like a luxury belief. Quiet quitting does not build systems, it abandons them. Soft life culture does not create stability, it assumes stability without contributing to it. Lazy job culture does not fix broken employment, it exploits gaps while ignoring why the gap exists. Birth rates are collapsing across developed nations. People cite financial instability, climate anxiety, lack of hope. Valid reasons, but the result is still refusal to build a future. And in 30 years, the next generation will inherit systems even more degraded, and they will blame this one the same way this one blames the last. The cycle is predictable. We are not breaking it. We are accelerating it and calling it self-care. Hedonism is the new king now, not traditional hedonism. Modern hedonism, pleasure without effort, comfort without consequence, entertainment without end. Consumer data shows young adults spending on experiences, travel, entertainment, even while delaying home ownership and savings. Not because they're irresponsible, but because milestones feel impossible anyways. If you feel you'll never own a home, Why save for a down payment? If stability is inaccessible, why defer gratification? If the future is uncertain, why not optimize the present? The logic is rational. It is also corrosive. And when you stop believing in the future, you start consuming the present like it's all you'll ever get. And this is documented too. Luxury travel and credit, designer purchases finance, experiences curated for content, not living, performing living for an audience that is also performing. Everyone is watching everyone else pretend their life is inviolable while privately knowing their own life is not. The performance is mutual. The anxiety is universal. The solution becomes content, more scrolling and more numbing. So they disengage, they consume, they wait. Mostly they wait for time to pass and for the problem to become someone else's problem. Automation does not replace ambition. It replaces absence. And when workers disengage, systems adapt. AI fills gaps. Employers restructure. Quiet quitting does not pressure institutions to change. It signals that replacement will be tolerated. Projections about displaced jobs are no longer hypothetical. Companies are already doing it. And the workers replaced first are the ones easiest to justify replacing. The ones openly admitting the bare minimum. The ones documenting disengagement. The ones already sorted as low value by the metrics. Withdrawal is not resistance. It is permission. And permission for the system to function without you. Permission for automation to proceed. And when replacement arrives, there will be content about that too. Reaction videos, explanatory threads, commiseration posts. The documentation will continue just from unemployment. This generation is not dreaming of progress. It is dreaming of escape, not upward mobility, downward expectations. The future is no longer something to build. It is something to avoid thinking about. Search the phrases. Is it even worth it? What's the point? Does anything matter? And you'll get millions of results. The comments are unanimous. Thousands agreeing and validating each other's decision to stop trying. That is what makes this different from past burnout cycles. This is not the rest before effort. This is extinction of participation. Belief itself is dying. Belief that effort leads somewhere. Belief that systems reward participation. Belief that the future wants them. And when belief dies, participation follows. They are not quitting jobs. They are quitting the idea that jobs matter. They are not avoiding relationships. They are avoiding the vulnerability relationships require. They are not postponing milestones. They are rejecting the premise that milestones have meaning. Every metric of participation is declining and accelerating. This is not a trend. This is a trajectory. And maybe they are correct. The voluntary extinction is not dramatic. It's quiet, polite, platform friendly. People are not quitting life. They are quitting belief. Previous generations destroyed the ladder while climbing it. This generation is walking away from the rubble. Neither action builds anything. Both guarantee the next generation inherits less. And the next generation will blame this one the way this one blames the last. The cycle continues. The decay accelerates. And everyone films themselves claiming they had no choice. Extinction used to arrive by force. This one arrives by consensus. But these are just my observations.